Hi everyone, I am Shan.
And I am Tam. This is the Real Talk Podcast.
On this podcast, we have some candid conversations between us about love, family, faith, relationships, parenting, work-life balance, and everything in between.
We invite you to not only listen, but interact with us and our guests as we have some real
Talk.
Shan and Tam fam, welcome back to Real Talk. We are back with you again talking about another hopefully interesting topic for you, something that's going to cause you to reflect on, the relationships you have and the people who are around you. And today's topic was inspired by, I think we mentioned recently in one of our recent episodes, the performance of Trey Anthony in her, her about her book and basically about her life. It's called Black Girl in Love with Herself. So in this book, she sort of explores, relationships that she's had with other Black women in various, like in spaces, right? Like particularly people who she's worked with. And, she kind of explored the fact that from a very young age, there are little seeds that are planted in our minds about trusting or not trusting the people who we're surrounded by. And more often than not, those people that these seeds are planted against are women. Because think of it now, Shan.
Yeah.
You as a little girl, you as a young girl, a teenager in your early 20s and, 30s and what have you, when somebody tell you, say, be careful of the people them who you keep company with.
Yeah.
Be careful who you tell your business. Be careful what you do with whatever, right? Whoever. When you look around, who would that normally be?
The girls.
The girls.
Yeah.
As women, it would normally or naturally be mostly other women. So now what does that do to you? It plant little seeds of like, okay, me really can't trust.
Mistrust from an early age.
Exactly. Everybody jealous of you. Then we jealous of you. Then we do you this or then we do you that. So this, concept, I was like, oh my goodness. We might be living this and not really even consciously recognizing that this is the experience that we are living and that we are sort of portraying. We don't trust the people who are around us. And more often than not, it's other Black women.
Wow.
I'm throwing it out there. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, no, a real talk. And even when you think about it in the workplace too, right? Yeah, you have people of the same race and stuff like that. But I always find instead of we supporting each other, it's like we're in a competition with each other.
That is the thing, I miss.
Like we're trying to break each other down. So it's like we can't trust each other.
Yeah.
Because it's like we are trying to upstage each other. We are trying to break each other down. And I find that with Black women. Like you clap when your friend a clap. Listen to me, Tam. Me not have no bad mind in my heart. And nothing more for me to see my friend them do well and do good. Because when you win, me win. But that's not the reality of a lot of women. A lot of women just bad mind and just don't want to see them sister move forward.
And it goes back to where does that begin, right? The fact say you feel say you need to always be better than the other person, or you feel that in your effort to excel that the other person is never going to be happy for you. And so it breeds these little, what we call bad mind type behavior.
And feeds up for resentment, right? Because it's like you can't be happy for somebody.
Okay. But here is the flip side too, because I'm saying, a lot of spaces where you might identify with being one of two, one of three, whatever, maybe one of a very small number of other Black women.
Mm-hmm.
And you go into that space thinking, all right, somebody else there for me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes,
You
it
know where I'm
is.
going with this.
It's a sad reality.
And the next thing you know, two twos, you turn around, and that person who you're looking to say, this person must be for me, they must have that on my side because I only two or few away.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sad reality that there are experiences too where they're absolutely not.
They're not for you.
Real talk.
Real talk.
And yeah, and that is everything is just deep rooted in slavery as well too. And the fact that we have always been taught not to support each other because back in slavery, like, we were separated based on the color of our skin. Even when we look at the concept of colorism, right? And what is beautiful and all of that, right? I mean, as Black women, we've been taught not to trust each other, not to love each other, and not to love ourselves too.
Yeah. And you mentioned slavery, that just by nature of even what you did on that plantation differentiated you and bred that level of resentment and infighting amongst the race because the house slave did better than the field slave.
May I tell you? Yeah. Right. And it created this nasty like separation and inferiority, superiority complex. Right. But it's interesting you said that, Tam, because like those seeds of mistrust has been planted into young girls from a very early age.
And so, what is our response to that?
I mean, it goes back to what we were talking earlier in terms of are you a safe space for someone? I believe for you, to foster a relationship of trust, you have to really look into yourself and to say what you bring to the relationship as well too. What energy are you bringing? What do you bring? What role do you play as well too?
Yeah. So trust was the big thing there. That I hear you talking about, and I believe it has to be present. It has to be present for you to actually have those genuine relationships. And maybe we're being repetitive because it crosses over
to being a safe space of someone, right?
Yeah, it crosses over into so many areas of your life. Right?
And it's interesting, Tam, because you said that I used to always think of even growing up and in Jamaica, right? And one of the things people used to always say, not trust certain woman around your man, and not trust certain things.
Listen, I don't only that even those people with a sister.
And bring your friend them around your man. Like what you know what I mean? And I'm thinking to myself, but then you see how that just create a thing. Yeah. Right. And I used to remember even when we had to come an entrance and stuff, and share your notes with that person there. So it's interesting because then it just make you think back then of some of the things that has been just downloaded in you. So then why should women or Black women feel vulnerable to share their emotions when, we've just been pretty much been taught not to share emotions and not to trust?
Real talk.
Real talk. It's sad that, where we can be collectively a powerhouse, that
yes,
socialization, how we've been brought up, can really change that. or
Mm-hmm.
cause that not to exist, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think you need to be definitely mindful about who you absolutely open up and really put your full trust in, but you also need to be wise,
Yeah. And
right?
that's when I said discernment come in. The kind of everybody I got chat to. You know the people that and that's why you just have to pray and answer discernment. That not mean you're not good. Right? But you also cannot be guarded to the point where you're not fostering that safe space and environment for someone to also trust you.
And you don't foster healthy relationships, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Which it does include boundaries. It does include boundaries, right? But it doesn't mean that we can't fully support, we can't genuinely love, and we can't fully
yeah.
support each other.
No, I hear you. And I'll make a comparison, Tam, right? Because even looking at our relationship, and when I even reflected on a prayer group that we were a part of. And the prayer group served this purpose, right? It served this purpose for the time, but I don't think that we all fully trusted each other. And because of that, there was a lack of authenticity within the group,
Right.
right? Whereas with you and I praying on our own with each other, because we're able to trust each other, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna come to you and say, why Tam, just pray to the house na bundle.
Mm-hmm.
Mega give you details on
Mm-hmm.
what's going on so
Mm-hmm.
that we can call things in the spiritual realm and to pray with and for each other. And that has made such a huge difference than just praying in vacuum, right?
Yeah.
You just have pray in general, but you don't know exactly the specifics of what to pray for. You understand what I'm saying? It just makes the relationship even gel more. I don't know if you
Right.
understand what
I
I'm saying.
totally get it. Yeah. You really need to be genuine and
Mm-hmm,
authentic. And we know the power of prayer, right?
mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
we know say you have to name it.
You
Name it
have
because
to.
it don't make no sense you hide behind what you
Yeah,
think God no know. He already know.
he already
Anyway,
knows.
but name it,
Yeah,
claim it when it needs to be claimed.
and put it out there in the atmosphere.
Put it out there, right?
But you need trust to do that.
Yeah, you do. It's disappointing and it's sad for me because I have had experiences where I have genuinely thought that somebody was for me when they really weren't.
And that hurts and cut like a knife, you
It
know. Me, I
hurts.
tell you, say it hurt bad.
But
Especially
what,
when you give all to that relationship and you find out said this person I mean you know well.
yeah, but I have not allowed it to do though is to leave me totally closed off or thinking that everybody stays so.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
We
Because
can't
if
live
that's
our
the
lives
case,
like that.
yeah, if that's the case, you won't ever trust anybody again.
Yeah, and we cannot live our life like that, and I don't think we'll have the full experience of life living that way because there
Mm-hmm.
can be so many more people out there. For that one person or two people who end up do you bad or do you dirty, as they would say, there could
Mm-hmm.
be 3, 4, or 5 more where we actually clap for you when they see you.
Real talk.
Real talk. They
I
walk,
know.
you know what I mean?
Yes, I know. I know. And I think too, time we live so many lives in this one life. I do believe so. I do believe so. And to that
Mm,
point, we cannot allow one experience to burn us from trusting another person again.
yeah. I feel that we as Black women, as women in general,
Yeah.
because I'm sure we have other races living, listening out there, listening to us out there. As women in general, we need to dispel these
Yes.
ideas that we as women cannot be
Trust each
for
other.
each other. We can't trust each other. We can't work together. We
Mm-hmm.
can't, do anything to, to move ahead and to uplift each other. We're just looking to tear each other down. We
Yeah.
need to dispel that myth. Look around you Look at the people who are in your life. Think about what you think about these people.
Mm-hmm.
Think about what you think about these people.
Mm-hmm.
Think about what those relationships look like.
Mm-hmm.
Why do they look that way?
Mm-hmm.
Is it that you actually can't trust? You've proven that you can't trust this person, or you just believe say you can't trust them, or they're not for you. Or
Yes.
that's what I would want to say and leave with the listeners to think about.
Yeah, there's so much to talk about. There's so much to talk about, Tam. And I think that we've been getting so many positive feedback from a
Yes.
lot of people. And, I find it's a blessing to even come to even talk because some other times people are not thinking these things. But it's real talk, we have to chat about them.
But I'm not even say people don't think about them, People don't want to talk about them.
Yeah, people don't want to talk about
people
it.
don't want to talk about it in open spaces, or they might be thinking about it, but thinking that they're the only ones thinking about it. Because I know we've had several people say to us, why the things one I talk about, me think about it, me never know, say.
Somebody else I think about
Somebody else I think about it.
Real talk.
Or
Real
yeah.
talk, real
So
talk.
I mean, you all know, listeners, that these are just like our conversations, just our real conversations between us. And if you're thinking the same thing too, and you're alone, okay.
I know. Join us in the conversation.
Join us in the conversation. So we wanted to just drop that little one on you today. Why is it that we think that we can't trust each other as women? Are we actually operating in that space that we're really not trusting other women?
As Black women.
Yeah, and turn it around. I think collectively we can be a powerhouse. We need to just love and support each other and feel that everybody against me. I might have one or two people in our life.
Yes.
I don't think it can be a general thing for us to walk through life thinking that
we're an island or
exactly.
the same. Real talk?
Real talk. So, until next time, when you hear us, we just want to say take care. Visit us on our social media pages, Facebook at Real Talk with Shan and Tam, YouTube, Shan and Tam, on IG. Drop us a comment at Sisters Shan and Tam, and find the podcast Real Talk with Shan and Tam on Spotify, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio podcasts. All the episodes are also uploaded to our YouTube page. Fam, we will see you again next time. Take care. Walk good. Bye.
Don't forget to visit Shan and Tam on all their social media websites. At Sisters Shan and Tam on Instagram, Shan Tam Lodge-Lee on Facebook, and check out their blogs at shanandtam.blogspot.com. Tune in again next time on Real Talk.